captain said one of the passengers sadly passed away, and it was due to natural causes. We're not we're not in infection. There's no contagious disease, something like that. The first death was because of the hantavirus, and after this announcement, we were not ready, or we were not isolated for what was to come.
But the Andes virus can have some human-to-human transmission. So for our point of view, from a public health perspective, this is what we are assuming, and we're trying to take the maximum level of precautions. But it is a serious infectious disease. You know, it's an infectious disease that if people get infected, and infections are uncommon, they can die. And so, again, people hearing this that are on the ship are, very rightly so, scared.
Then captain said one of the passengers sadly passed away, and it was due to natural causes. We're not in infection. There's no contagious disease, something like that. So this was a relaxing explanation, but this was not the case, because the first death was because of the hantavirus. And after this announcement, we were not ready, or we were not isolated for what was to come. We were together during breakfast, lunch, and dinner timings in the dining room all together. There was open buffet, and we had lecture sessions, group activities. Still, even after the day that we had someone passed away, until my last day, 24th of April, we didn't take any cautions. We were not informed about the situation, and the ship management, I think, didn't know anything about the virus.
But the Andes virus can have some human-to-human transmission. So for our point of view, from a public health perspective, this is what we are assuming, and we're trying to take the maximum level of precautions, balancing risk. And please let me just add that the risk to the general public is low. And I think we need to contextualize this, because there's a lot of attention, and it's good that we're seeing attention, but we do want to put in context to what we mean for everyone saying, oh my gosh, is this the next one? I think people see me sometimes and I think, it's like the next COVID. And I really just want to assure people this is something that's quite different. This is not the next COVID, but it is a serious infectious disease. You know, it's an infectious disease that if people get infected, and infections are uncommon, they can die. And so, again, people hearing this that are on the ship are, very rightly so, scared. And the general public might be scared as well. So early information, accurate information is critical, knowing what your actual exposure might be, and most people will never be exposed to this.
Today in the morning there was a meeting with the Dutch and Spanish authorities, as the ship is Dutch and now is heading to the Canary Islands or to Spain. And this afternoon there will be again a meeting of the Health Security Committee with all the states whose citizens are on board of Honduras. So as you can see, there is a lot of happening. We follow the situation really very, very closely, and we try to very thoroughly assess every possible risk that would be potentially here for the citizens in Europe.
Thanks, Eva. Let's go to Mariana, who has a question from remote, and then I'll come back to you.
According to the current situation, there is no cause for concerns at the moment. We are monitoring the situation very closely. We are in touch with all necessary authorities. We are in touch basically since the first day when we were notified about the disease on the cruise ship. Since that first day, we are in touch with WHO, with the member states, and we are in touch with our agency, ACDC, European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control. On top of that, ECDC has sent already an expert on board of the ship, so he is there doing his job, assessing the situation, monitoring the situation. So currently, we do everything what is necessary not to underestimate the situation and to be ready to react in every stage of the developments.
So what we know so far is that there is this cruise ship of more than 150 passengers, and some people have started to develop symptoms, pulmonary symptoms, deteriorating very rapidly, and unfortunately some people passed away. And after analysis and investigation, we found out that we were confirmed that these people contracted a virus called hantavirus. In particular, now we know that it's a species of hantavirus called Andes virus. And this virus is found in South America, mainly in Chile and Argentina. We think the first case of hantavirus might happen during the Korean War, and that's where the name comes from, Hantan. So there is a river in Korea that's called Hantan River, and in the late 70s, the hantavirus virus have been isolated, and then it has been traced back that probably caused an outbreak among soldiers in the region during the war. Later in the 90s, the hantaviruses have been found also in the New World, so in the Americas. And we know Andes, it has been found in the late 90s in South America, and we know of another hantavirus that's usually associated with North American cases. Beside the diversity in geography, we also know that the New World hantaviruses cause a disease that we are seeing now called pulmonary syndromes. So the main targeted organ are the lungs, and it is believed also the heart to a lower extent. And the fatality rate is around 40%, which is why people are so scared, probably. And for old world hantaviruses, though, the pathology is quite different. So they mainly affect kidneys, and the fatality rate is much lower. It is between 1 to 15%. So it's same viral family, different viral species that cause different type of diseases depending on the species and where you contract it. So we are particularly worried about Andes because, as people may know now, these viruses mainly transmit from rodents to human. And when I say rodents to human, is basically you can imagine a scenario where there are rodents excreta that people might come into contact. And by moving or cleaning this excreta, the viral particles that are in this secretion becomes aerosol and then can be inhaled. So I was reading about it, and as far as I found a paper from 2023 where they stated there are around 100-200 cases of Andes virus in Argentina every year. So I think these infections, they happen more than we may be aware of, because they are in other parts of the world, because we don't know this. We, as a general public, we are more focused on other more known viruses. The most important thing is not to create panic. So as I said, this virus is not new. And the fact that people are hearing about it or them for the first time means the transmission is very low. It doesn't happen often. And so I would suggest the public not be informed, get information from the right media, and not to draw to any conclusion like cancel all their holidays, start stockpiling or any goods. This is not where we are now.